Welcome to School Report, a glimpse into the classrooms of St. Lucie County Public Schools. School Report provides the opportunity to share with the community academic and extracurricular activities of students in our schools. And now, here is School Report.
We would like to welcome all of you as we celebrate Florida's Celebrate Literacy Week. On behalf of Pat Gascoigne, the Assistant Principal, we would like to again welcome all of you. We appreciate your support of Fairlawn, your support of literacy, and your support of public education. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules. Many of you have done this for me for years, and when we make the call, you are more than ready to come. So we truly appreciate all of you. We would like to share Kelly Rydell, the media specialist. You can thank her, and Jody Lyda, the clerk, for this wonderful media center. We just have a plethora of books, and we really celebrate reading every single day at Fairlawn. As you are aware, we have increased our graduation rate, St. Lucie Public Schools, and it's because of our elementary teachers and the quality teaching that is in every classroom every single day, as we know it starts in kindergarten. So we are all working to continue to increase our graduation rates as we work to improve the quality of life in our city. So without further ado, Kelly, if you would like to share an initiative that we just started here at Fairlawn.
To coincide with Florida Celebrate Literacy Week, we're very, very excited to bring the program One School, One Book to Fairlawn. We're the first school in the district to do this, and it is to promote both family and community literacy. Every child in the school, every administrator, staff member, and teacher received a copy of The Indian in the Cupboard. It is the same book for every grade, to be read at home by parents aloud, one chapter a night, so we can have that shared literacy experience and move it from just our Fairlawn family out to the community as everybody is talking about what's happening next. And it is a great jumping board to moving on to the next piece of literature. You can see some of the posters are through the school. What are we going to read next? The kids came in this morning after just reading the first chapter yesterday, looking at the poster right outside the door. There's a group of about 6 kids pointing to what book they want to read next. So we're very excited. Stay tuned for more information on it.
Thank you, Kelly.
That's what we're doing.
Without further ado, our student council is here to escort you to the classroom, so as soon as you are finished reading, you are good to go. But please, before you leave, take refreshments or stop back by and make sure you take a cup with you, compliments of Fairlawn. We know that many of the departments have sent representatives. We also know that there are some people that are ill, so if somebody is not here, we'll send someone else to the classroom.
The Story of Ferdinand. Has anybody read this one before? Well, Ferdinand looks like he's a bull. And I think your classroom is all decorated. So you probably know about cows and bulls and horses and some of those things, right? So let's see what we can find out about Ferdinand. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. So see what Ferdinand looks like when he's little? He's very small. All the other little bulls he lived with would jump and run and butt their heads together. That's how bulls like to play. They frolic through the pastures, and they take their heads and they hit each other. That's their way of playing. But not Ferdinand. Ferdinand didn't like to play with the others. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. So it looks like Ferdinand liked to go away all by himself. Well, let's see. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. So all by himself under a cork tree. Looks like it was a big tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in the shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself, sitting all by himself. She was worried that he wouldn't be happy. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would say, as he shook his head, I like it here better, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she just let him sit there by himself and be happy. So Mom just said, okay, if that's what Ferdinand wants, well, okay, we'll let Ferdinand just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. Look how big he got. You know, just from a little calf to a big bull. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. That's in Spain. So see all the cows or the bulls, they're looking at the signs for the bullfights, which they do all the time in Spain. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, the fastest, the roughest bull that could fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Look at all these funny hats. These men came to look over all the bulls and see which one should they pick. They are funny hats. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting and leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very strong and fierce and would pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. And what did he do under the cork tree?
Smell the flowers.
Right. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Ooh, see that bumblebee? I can only imagine what's going to happen next. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Ooh. Wow. Did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around, puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. You just see his legs, but you can just imagine, just think how you might jump up and kick your legs out and run and holler if a bee got you on the butt. You think? The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Oh. So they took Ferdinand away for the bullfight day in a cart. Just in his little cart. and here he was, just smelling the roses, and now he's in their little cart, and he's headed to see the bullfight, or to be a part of the bullfight. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. So the big celebration when they do the bullfights, generally, everybody dresses up in their traditional costumes in Spain. They had a parade into the bull ring, so they do a parade. They get ready for the bullfights as they celebrate. It's a big day. First came the banderellas with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Now, can you see those banderellas? That's what they use, because sometimes the bull will just sit there. So they take these large pins with ribbons on them, and they might poke that bull to get him mad, so he runs. Next came the Picadors, who rode skinny horses, and they had large spears to stick in the bull and make them madder. See, like a big long spear is what they had. Then came the Matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome, and he bowed to all the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword, and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. So see your Matador in Spain. It's a Matador that goes into the bull ring to see. You see the Matador? Okay. Then came the bull, and you know who that one was, don't you? Who was the bull? Well, yes, and they called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderellas were afraid of him, and the Picadors were afraid of him, and the Matador, he was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all of the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled the flowers. His favorite pastime. Here he is. He just wants to sit and smell the flowers that are on the hats of the ladies. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did to him. He just sat and smelled. And the banderellas, they were mad, and the Picadors were madder. And the Matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he may still be sitting where?
Under the tree.
Under the cork tree. And what's he doing under the tree? smelling the flowers quietly. And I think he is very, very happy. There he sits, all by himself. He wasn't interested in being a bull for the bullfighters. Well, that's the end of the story. Has anybody ever been to Spain? Have you? You're going to go. Did you see a bullfight?
My grandma did.
Your grandma
I
did.
watched bullfights.
Maybe you've seen them on TV. Yeah. Those big bulls and their horns, they can be.
There's one that had like huge horns,
Uh-huh.
and he wouldn't hit him in the head. He was running up to the side and digging him.
Yeah? Yeah, you could get hurt by those horns. Well, thank you.
Those horns can actually kill you.
Well, they could if those horns get you in the wrong place.
They're sharp.
Mm-hmm. Very pointed. Well, thank you for letting me come today and read for you. I enjoyed that story, and I hope you did too.
We say thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it was wonderful. Anytime you have the opportunity to be with the children and share their excitement for learning, and which is quite evident here at Fairlawn Elementary. It's a delight for me, and the enthusiasm of the children is always enchanting. Although I was always active here at Fairlawn, I served as PTO president many years ago when my daughter was a student here, and when the school first opened. But since I've retired, I anytime that there's an opportunity, I welcome those opportunities to serve in my community.